Let me show you guys the only supplements you need to maximize your health and results. I'm going to be starting off with D3 plus K2. I have one that already has both of them mixed in. Let's start off with why I take D3. These are the few reasons why I take D3. The first one is bone health. Not just that, but it helps you boost calcium absorption in the gut. It also helps prevent osteoporosis and it helps you overall just maintain healthy bones and strong teeth. Not just that, but low levels of D3 is actually linked to depression. So take some D3 and it'll reduce some depression. Not just that, but it also helps with your immune system by enhancing your body's defense against infections. Like for example, like the cold and flu. Not just that, but it also helps with immune response and it also helps with reducing inflammation. And it's super important for trying to maintain your muscle. Now everybody knows you can get D3 from sunlight, but not all of us are out and about. This is why I recommend supplementing with it. Now let's talk about K2 and why you should take it with vitamin D3. It helps activate osteocalcine, which is a protein that helps bind calcium to the bones and teeth, making them stronger. D3 works great with K2 because D3 helps with calcium absorption, while K2 makes sure the calcium goes to all the right places. Like for example, making sure it goes to the bones and not the arteries. It helps activate matrix GLA protein, better known as MGP. This is what prevents calcium buildup in the arteries. And we don't want calcium buildup in the arteries because that could result in heart disease. If you take one as a supplement, you have to take the other as a supplement. It will just maximize results even more. D3 helps calcium get into your bloodstream, while K2 takes it to all the right places, like I said before, the bones, and making sure it doesn't go to the soft tissues like your kidneys and your arteries. You can get both of these from one food, and that food is eggs. But let's just say you can't get them from eggs. This is why I recommend supplementing. Yes, there's quite a few other foods out there that might provide you with D3 and K2, but sometimes you can't get out in the sunlight, sometimes you can't eat eggs, or there's a lot of other factors that play a role, right? This is why I always recommend supplementing. But let's say you don't want to supplement, let me help you out a little bit. The 3 ways to get in D3 is by sunlight and supplementing, like I said already. I think everybody should do it. And the third way is from fatty fish and like egg yolks. And last but not least, fortified foods like milk and cereal. As for K2, you could get it from natto, fermented soybeans, and just overall fermented food like kimchi. And last but not least, grass-fed dairy, butter, eggs, and organ meats. And that's everything on why you need to take D3 plus K2. Now let's go over why you should take high quality salt, like Redmond real salt. This salt has a bunch of minerals in it, and minerals are great for your health. Like for example, it has potassium, magnesium, and iron. These all help out with your health. But let's talk about all of the health benefits. It's great for hydration. Like for example, sometimes you feel dehydrated at all times and you have enough water in your body. You might not have enough salt in your body though. Especially if you're someone like me who's always like working out all the time, always sweating, then I always recommend having a pinch of salt in your water. It also helps maintain fluid balance, nerve signaling, and muscle function. And it is better than table salt because you can find more minerals traced to it. If you can find one with even more minerals traced to it than this one, then I recommend buying that one. And there used to be wars over salt because of how beneficial it was. Not just that, but one of the biggest factors it plays is reducing fatigue, headaches, and muscle cramps. But it is still salt, so take it in small amounts. So add a pinch of it to your water, or if you're like me and you like to stay hydrated at all times, I always like to add half a teaspoon in the morning. And as for the salt, I don't think it really matters when you take it. And for the D3 plus K2, I don't think it matters that much either. But I'm pretty sure that if you have it with a meal, it'll help you digest it better. But besides that, I don't think it really matters. And all of these are supplements that are really researched, including creatine. The one that everybody despises because it supposedly makes you get fat. So let's go over all the benefits and why you should take it and why it does not make you fat. Creatine helps recycle ATP, your body's energy currency, especially during short bursts of energy activity. Like for example, when you lift weights or when you go out to sprint. If you have more ATP, that means you have more reps, you can add more weight, and you can add even more muscle gain. Not just that, but your brain also uses ATP. Some studies even show that creatine can improve cognitive function, mental fatigue, and with your memory, especially with people who are like sleep deprived and are very stressed. Not just that, but also helps build lean mass. It does this by promoting cell hydration. What does cell hydration do? It pulls water into the muscle. Creatine makes your muscles look fuller, and it also signals anabolic. That's the muscle building process. And over time, it leads to actual muscle gain and not just water weight. Because that's why people stop taking creatine, because of the water weight, even though the water is just being pulled into all the right places, like your muscles. Not just that, but also speeds up recovery by reducing muscle cell damage and inflammation. Not just that, but also helps you recover faster in between workout sessions and sets. As for when you should take it and how much you should take, just take 5 grams daily and stay consistent with it. Don't ever stop taking those 5 grams daily. I'm not saying it's just gonna ruin your whole progress. I'm just saying to make sure you're staying consistent with it. Make sure you always take those 5 grams daily. And as for when you should take it, it doesn't matter when you take it, as long as you take it. And trust me, it's not gonna make you fat. Why does everybody think it's gonna make you fat? All it does is pull water into the muscle, increasing ATP. But a big pro tip is to buy a flavored one, like this one, that's, I think it's blue ras flavored, and it's really good. You're never gonna forget to take it. It tastes exactly like juice, and I bought mine from Ecovision, really good brand. And one small detail that you cannot miss is make sure it's creatine monohydrate. This is the most researched one and the one with the most benefits. Now let's go over why you should take magnesium glycinate specifically. To start off, it improves sleep and relaxation. It helps you go to sleep faster and stay up sleep longer. It helps produce GABA, a calming neurotransmitter. And it's just great in general if you struggle with anxiety, restlessness, or you just have poor sleep quality. It helps reduce anxiety and stress because it calms down your nervous system. And it's often used by people who struggle with anxiety. Like I said, that's a big one. People who are really irritable or just struggle with mental fatigue. It supports heart and nerve health. It does this by helping you regulate your heartbeat, your blood pressure, and your nerve functions. And why magnesium glycinate and not just any other magnesium? First off, magnesium is bound to glycine, a calming amino acid. Second, it's easy on the stomach. Unlike magnesium oxide or citrate, where it could cause diarrhea. And it's super ideal for long-term use. As for how much you should take and when you should take it, just take a serving every single day. Like for example, for this one, a serving is 2 tablets, and take it before you go to sleep. It's gonna help you go to sleep faster, and it's just gonna overall improve your sleep quality, which is a major thing in health. Now this last one, it's not essential. That's why I didn't include it in the beginning of the video, but it is really helpful. And it's protein powder. Now, what does protein powder help with? It helps you build muscle, and it's super convenient. Not just that, but it fills you up with very few calories, which is a really big factor when it comes to fat loss or just in general for somebody who feels hungry all the time. And if not that, then you can use it in a bunch of recipes. Like for example, protein pancakes and like protein waffles, some maybe even some cakes, and there's a lot of other ones to be honest. And as for the best ones to take, I always recommend whey and casein. Now what to look for in a good protein powder is 20 to 30 grams of protein per serving, and it be third-party tested. Not just that, but for it to have less than 3 grams of sugar per serving. And as for making you bulky or gain weight or whatever you want to call it, the only way to do that is by being in a calorie surplus. There's no other way. Besides that, it will never make you bulky. And as for when you take it, it doesn't matter at all. Something else you could look for is it not having extra stuff like gums and like soys and no cheap additives. And trust me, it won't damage your kidneys as long as you buy a decent one, and I just told you how to look for a decent one. And that's the last supplement and why you might want to buy some protein powder. And that's every single supplement I use to maximize results and to stay as healthy as possible. And I hope this video helped you, and if it did, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And this is Saul, and you already know, Saul out.